Dance with Mara Wilson. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, I'm having a great time. This is only my second time in Scotland, and it's my first time in Scotland in 20 years, something like that. So I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I'm sure all our wonderful Scottish fans are truly welcoming to you. A massive round of applause, please, for Mara Wilson.
Yeah, thank you.
Love that. So how have you found the gorgeous ambiance of Monopoly Events' Comic-Con Scotland? How have you found it? What are the best cosplay outfits that you've seen already?
Oh my gosh. I have seen, the unicorn yesterday, of course, was fantastic, but I have a very soft spot for, I saw Little Matilda earlier. I saw Little Matilda and absolutely loved it. And can you really... is there a bigger compliment than somebody dressing as a character that you played? I don't think that there is. I'm just thrilled about that.
Absolutely next level to be able to see someone imitating you from years ago.
It really is the sincerest form of flattery. Cosplay is the sincerest form of flattery.
Amazing. I can't wait for that stage of my career where someone's rocking a tartan suit in front of me. I love it. Amazing.
Exactly.
Speaking of cosplay, we noticed that there are some sensational Stranger Things cosplays in the house. Have we got any Stranger Things fans in with us? That was rubbish. Have we got any Stranger Things fans in with us? Excellent. Well, I wanted to ask Mara a little question relating to Stranger Things, because there has been a comparison made for the skills that young Matilda has, her magic powers, and complementing them against Eleven's powers. What are your thoughts?
So I get asked all the time who would win in a fight between Eleven and Matilda. And I have an answer. I said, yes, you're laughing at that. It is kind of a strange question, I guess, to be asked, like which of these two little girls would beat each other up. But I have an answer for that, and my answer is that they would not fight. They would understand each other, they would respect each other, and of course, what would they do? They would have breakfast foods together. So Matilda would make pancakes, and Eleven, of course, would have her waffles, and they would just have a very nice breakfast together, and I think that is what would happen. It would not be a fight, it would be breakfast.
Love it. Nice breakfast, chill. We love that answer.
Yes.
Always bring the food, not the fists.
Exactly. Food, not feasts. Food, not feasts. Not fists.
Well, we'll go
Feasts, not fists.
Oh, I love this. I love the way that we'll fully get this right, and that's going to be our new hashtag.
Yes, exactly. That'll be
Feast,
our thing.
not fists.
That'll be our thing. Of course.
I love the way that we're talking about topics that are multi-generational, because Stranger Things certainly has that, but Matilda truly envelops it. What's it like to be a star of a multi-generational film?
I don't think I really understood at the time the impact that it was going to have, but if I think about it, Matilda was something that had an impact on me when I was like a very, 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 very wee one. Sorry, I'm trying to say wee and it just doesn't sound right in an American accent.
Smashed it though, didn't she? Smashed it.
But thank you for clapping for my attempt. But I was very little. In fact, I remember, I think I was maybe 3 years old, and I was ill with something, one of those illnesses that like little children can get that's not too serious. So my mom actually brought me to my brother's school because she was reading Matilda out loud to his class. And she was very performative, very theatrical. So she read it out loud to his class. And I remember just being captivated and thinking, what is this book? This is the best book I've ever heard of. And then a few years later, my agent called and said, oh yeah, we've got a couple of scripts. We've got this one, Matilda, this one. And my mom said, whoa. Matilda, send us that one. So even before I was in the movie, Matilda was a big deal in my family. My brothers were all reading it. My mom was reading it at school out loud. And so I guess it doesn't really surprise me that Matilda is something now that people carry on with, and they show it to their daughters. And I do feel a little old sometimes when people tell me that their children love it, but so far nobody has told me yet that their grandchildren love it. So nobody my age anyway, so I guess that's a good sign.
Definitely a good sign.
Exactly.
Truly iconic.
Thank
iconic.
you.
My daughter's in the audience. She loves it. Literally loves it.
It's an amazing compliment to know that you are part of somebody's life as a child, and now you're part of their child's life. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And starring alongside you in Matilda was some of Hollywood royalty. Let's talk a little bit about Danny DeVito. How was he?
There are a lot of stories about Danny DeVito being very funny and very ridiculous, and they're all completely true. He is so lovely and so funny and just wants to talk to you about his favorite shows and his favorite comedians and his favorite movies, and he has such a wild, funny, dark sense of humor, and he was like my fun uncle for a long time, really took care of me and my family, and he even threw me a birthday party on the set of Matilda. I came to Matilda on my birthday. I was turning 8 years old, and there were rainbow-colored balloons, just balloons in a rainbow arc. And during the middle of the day, we had a cake in the shape of Matilda's red hair ribbon. It was a very good chocolate cake. Yeah, it was not the same as Bruce Bogtrotter's chocolate cake, but it was a very, very good cake. And he also had like an ice cream cart for me. He spoiled me. He was like the fun uncle or grandfather that totally spoils you. Yeah, I was very spoiled by Danny and Rhea, for sure.
That face deserves to be spoiled. Yes.
Thank you.
Love it. So as we sway from talking about Matilda, I want to still talk about Matilda, but I want to talk about the Matilda of today.
Yeah.
Have you managed to get a little screening of the new movie yet?
No, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I have seen the Broadway show.
Talk to me about that.
I saw the show on Broadway, and I mean, I went there, and the oh my gosh, the actress who played Matilda, I believe it was Una Lawrence, was just so lovely. She was so wonderful, and I actually a couple years later I did a show with Leslie Margarita, who was playing Mrs. Wormwood, and we got a picture of the two of us together because I mean it was just too funny. We just had to, and I'm a big Broadway fan. Like, start singing any musical and I'll join in. So I thought that was very cool, and it's very different than the movie, but I'm very excited to see where they go with the movie, especially with Emma Thompson, who's just lovely.
Oh, as Miss Trunchbull, has anybody seen the trailers for the new Matilda? What are your thoughts? Are you thinking that Emma Thompson can pull off Miss Trunchbull as good as Pam Ferris? Yeah, she can do it.
They're different takes on the same character. I mean, Pam Ferris is forever in my heart.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can fill those massive shoes.
Yeah, Massive Shoes is right. She had a lot of, she was very, very tall. No, Pam Ferris is just absolutely fantastic. She is also one of the kindest people I've ever met. She is so lovely and kind and sweet and just like wants to, have tea with you and show you pictures of her cats and her dogs and her garden. Just so gentle, soft-spoken, kind, and then, they'd call action and she would just come alive and become this monstrous character. But she couldn't hide how kind she really was.
I love it. The fact that she is just such a presence every time that she graces that screen.
Yes, it's so funny to see her in so many things. I mean, she's been in some of my favorite movies and shows, and she's completely different in every single thing. And she just disappears. I mean, we had that big, padded muscle suit on her, and she disappeared. And I remember my mom saying, "She is so beautiful in real life." And she is. She is so beautiful and so lovely. And, Embeth, of course, who played Miss Honey, was so kind and sweet as well. But I think everybody expected her to be sweet. They didn't really expect Pam Ferris to be, but she was, absolutely was.
Well, they are the traits of iconic characters, to be able to mesh and bend to whatever is given to you to create something magical on screen. And speaking of that, if you were to have been cast in the new Matilda film, who would you have liked to have portrayed?
Oh, I mean, people used to say to me, "Oh, you should play Miss Honey," but I don't quite have the vocal range for it. I don't think I have a much lower voice than Miss Honey. I think that it would have been fun to play one of the doting parents.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning. I always thought that would have been very fun, to be the parents that everybody's making fun of.
Yeah, that'd have been great.
I thought that would have been really fun to play. I like playing silly characters. I guess I'm like Pam in that way. I like to play the silly, ridiculous characters, too.
Love doting parent characters.
Oh,
and what a segue into Mrs. Doubtfire. Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Have we got Mrs. Doubtfire fans with us?
Wow.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire got a bigger shout than Stranger Things. We are onto a winner.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah.
Shall we have a little chat about Mrs. Doubtfire?
Of course.
You were very young when you were casting Mrs. Doubtfire.
Very young. I think I was five years old. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as if you were put against sort of lower talents or actors that just don't cast any shadow. Oh, no. You get Robin Williams and Sally Field.
I did, but the thing was, I think that it was probably the perfect movie for me to start out in because they are both such kind and giving people. Sally Field was so sweet and so gentle. In fact, in my family, we always we would name our tooth fairies. We would the tooth fairy. We would give her a name. I guess she had a fairy name, but she also had a people name, and I named mine Sally, after Sally Field. So that's how sweet she was to me. I named a fairy after her. But Robin was also just so good with kids, so kind, so funny, just loved playing jokes with us and just making, I remember he used to make his carpet bag bark like a dog, and he had little hand puppets that would talk and say things like, I don't like you, you smell like poop, and which is very, very funny when you're 5 years old. And he did. I remember there's one scene where that we have all the petting zoo type animals there, and I'm riding a pony, and he put some oats in his hat and fed it to the pony, and then at the end of it there were just some slimy oats with pony slobber on them, and he turned to me with the hat and said, "Do you want to wear it?" I said no. I got a look on my face, and they called cut, and everybody laughed. So he was just really, and also Matt and Lisa, who played, my brother and sister. They really did feel like my brother and sister. They took care of me. We felt like family. And I mean, if you have to have a stepfather, James Bond is a pretty good stepfather, right? Pierce was also very sweet and very funny. So I feel extremely fortunate to have had that be my first movie.
Amazing. It is all about family. It's the family warmth.
Is.
And here at Comic-Con, we are all about our Comic-Con family. Yes, each and every single one of you. So we are going to open up the floor to you guys. Are there any questions that you would like to pose to Mara? Please feel free. Get on up. Bring yourselves down to our central section right on here. And we are going to have a nice little open mic. Now, please make them wonderful questions as opposed to direct shouty comments. Yes, let us know. Let us know what your name is, good sir, as you are opening up our show, and speak nice and clearly with your wonderful question.
My name's Harry. My question is, what was your favorite scene in Matilda to film?
Oh, let's see. The Matilda montage at the end was probably a really fun one to film, just because Embeth and I got to have so much fun together with all the Miss Honey Matilda scenes. We went rollerblading, and I always tell people, though, the chocolates scene, there's scenes where we're both eating chocolates, and that wasn't as fun because we were eating the chocolates, and Danny was shouting out directions, and he said, feed each other. And I had picked out one that I really wanted to eat, and so I was looking at it kind of sadly, and I went like this, and Embeth came at me with her chocolate, and I bit into it, and it was filled with cherry juice. And cherry juice just exploded and went all the way down my wardrobe, and I had to go and change. So that was kind of gross. But also, I'd have to say, anything where there was a lot of kids, especially chasing Miss Trunchbull out of the school, because that really was just a giant food fight, and what kid doesn't want to participate in that?
That is a fun day at work.
Yeah, it was. We lost control. We had so much fun.
Love it. Thank you so much for your question. Can we have a round of applause for these questions as they come? It takes so much to get on up and ask one to such superstars as we have.
Good for you.
But it's down to you, young lady, yes? What's your name, please?
My name's Amber. Hi, Mara.
Hi.
I was wondering, what was it like to work on the film, which I grew up with, Thomas and the Magic Railroad?
Thomas was another really fun movie to make. Another one of the probably almost as fun as Matilda. Matilda, I would say, was probably the most fun to work on. It was so much fun. We had such a fun cast and crew, and we filmed in such beautiful places. We filmed in the Isle of Man, and the Isle of Man is very, very beautiful and completely different from where I grew up. So the sights there and the people there were just lovely. And there were so many people there that were so fun to work with, but it's also just very cool to say that you have technically ridden Thomas the Tank Engine, right? Like, not many people can say that. So, I consider that was a very fun experience, and again, I consider myself very lucky to have had it.
Beautiful. Love that question. Round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Yes, Edinburgh, just like the Isle of Man, gorgeous place. And if any of you do visit the Isle of Man, you can go and check in on one of our other superstar guests, John Rhys-Davies, big resident of the Isle of Man.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'll have to talk to him about it.
Yeah, he's literally like the mayor there.
Yeah.
And if he isn't, he sure will be. He'll just tell everybody he is. He's a legend. Yes, young lady, talk to me.
Hi, I'm Poppy,
Hi, Poppy.
and I'm going to ask you about A Simple Wish, because that's one of my favourite movies as well.
Oh my gosh.
And what was the most fun scene to film, and did you get to keep any of the props?
Let's see. I don't know if I kept any props from A Simple Wish, but I think that I kept some of the clothes from A Simple Wish. But A Simple Wish, I'm trying to think of the most fun scenes to film. Probably the one where there's the one where I was flying in like a ballet dancer. That was very fun. You know, I was on a bunch of like wires. Very fun, very silly, very ridiculous, except I had to take dance classes for it, and I'm not a very good dancer. But Martin was very fun and very funny to work with too, so anything really with him. There's one scene where he falls off a balcony, and I remember we put him, we buckled him in with like a little seat buckle, and then one day I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we said like, okay, let's go to lunch? And so we all yelled cut and went like, okay, guys, going to lunch. And we tried to leave him there on the balcony in his harness. And he was like, guys. Hopefully, now I wonder if maybe they told him about it beforehand, because that might have been a little bit scary.
What a question. I love that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Give it up
Thank
for
you.
a wonderful question about Simple Wish. What is it about 90s films that just gives you that nice, warm, fuzzy glow inside? I just love the 90s
I don't know.
movies.
There were so many there. I think that they made stuff for kids. They made a lot of stuff that was just with kids and with families in mind, I think. I think there's maybe a lot more stuff for adults these days. I don't know. But yeah, there definitely were a lot more family films at the time, I think.
Yeah,
Hello.
definitely. Hello.
Hello, I'm Becca. I've got two questions, really. So the first one is, it's quite well known that obviously during Matilda, Danny and Rhea were quite sort of parently towards you. Is like, as the cast of Matilda, do you sort of still get together again, or just still keep in contact with everyone?
We do keep in contact. In fact, I haven't seen Danny recently, but we still are in touch. We still talk, you know, and his children and I, you know, we follow each other on Instagram, still interact on there. They're all just absolutely lovely. And I am still friends with a lot of the people there, like Kira, who played Hortensia, we're still friends, and Kiami, who played Lavender, we're still friends. So yeah, we'll get tea or coffee sometimes together and just sort of reminisce. And Pam Ferris, yeah, I saw her a couple years ago too, and like I said, she's just lovely. So is Embeth. And my sister's favorite show is Mad Men, and Embeth, who played Miss Honey, was on that. And we always got so excited whenever she showed up on there. We would go, there's our friend, there's our friend.
The other question I had is, have you got anything that you're looking to do as like projects in the future?
Yeah, I actually have, so I still act, but I don't do much on screen anymore. I do more voiceover. So I've got a lot of voiceover projects coming out, and I've also started doing more audiobooks, which I absolutely love. I just had one book come out called Crash from Outer Space, which is about UFOs. It's a kid's book, super fun. That was really fun to do. I have another book for, I would say probably like 11, 13-year-olds called Bright. It's coming out. I loved doing that. That's really, it's so much fun because you get to play all of the characters. So there's that, and I'm also doing a lot of writing. So those are really what I want to be doing right now. You know, voice acting and writing, those are really my favorite things. So yeah, I've got a lot of that kind of stuff coming up, and just keep your, I guess, eyes open and ears open.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Love that question. What a nice segue. As we talked about writing, you guys can pick up your own very special copy of Mara's amazing autobiography, Where Am I Now? From all good bookstores and Amazon. You can order it online. Make sure you pick it up. Check it all out. Nice little plug for Amazon there. Cha-ching, boof. Excellent. Yes, guys, come on, step up to the microphone. What's your names?
My name is Callan. I was just wondering if you still remember what 13 times 379 is.
I do, and it is 4,927.
Yes!
I always hoped that would come up on a math quiz because that would have been one of the few answers that I got right. I was not like Matilda when it came to sums. I was not like her. I loved to read just like Matilda, but yeah, in math I was pretty hopeless.
I've heard some wonderful questions today, but I've
Yes.
got to say, that's been the best one up to now.
That
Give
was
him a round of
great one.
applause.
Great question.
Hello.
Hello, my name's Liam.
Hi, Liam.
Hello. And I've got a question about Matilda. Do you know if the actor who played Bruce Bogtrotter has ever looked at a chocolate cake the same way again?
Oh, poor Jimmy. Jimmy actually didn't like chocolate cake very much. I remember asking him before we filmed, I said, so what do you think about chocolate cake? He said, it's okay. And I thought, oh no. And so then after, weeks of filming this, and honestly, that scene went on for so long that instead of like time out on the call sheet, somebody just drew an infinity symbol. Like he was going to be there forever. And I remember asking him after, I was like, so what do you think about chocolate cake now? And he just got this like 1,000-yard stare and said, I'm so sick of it. But I talked to him a few years ago when we did the sort of reunion and some recreations, and he likes chocolate cake now. So I guess all's well that ends well, right?
Take my hat off to him for that.
How often does he have it? I don't know. Probably not as much as he ate a lifetime of chocolate cake in that week. But yeah, he does like chocolate cake, so I guess it's all good.
It's all good to create true iconic memories on screen. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
bringing
so
it up.
much.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh, we are getting an absolute smorgasbord of wonderful questions.
I know.
Let's step
These are
on up.
great.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Jakob, and my question for you is, what was it like for you being so young and starring in so many movies?
That's a really good question. That is a very smart question. I think at the time, I didn't really see it as anything special. My parents, didn't want me to become very full of myself or conceited. So, I was still sharing a room with my sister. I was still going to, our local state schools. I was still, in scouts. I was living a pretty normal life apart from that. And actually, where I grew up, acting was pretty common, and child acting, like some of my best friends were in like McDonald's commercials or things like that. So it didn't seem like that big of a deal, but that meant that I kind of didn't understand. I was like, oh, people are fans of mine? Really? People know who I am? I didn't quite put it all together. And I think it's really only as a grown-up that I realized what the movies I made meant to people. And it's been this sort of heartwarming experience, really being like, oh, wow, I really did make a difference in people's lives. And if I think about it too long, I'll start to tear up because really, what more can you hope for, right? To have touched people's lives all over the world, that is the greatest gift. It is so cool.
Incredible question. We
Yes.
love it. Loving the
Very
jumper
smart
as well.
question.
Loving the jumper.
Yeah.
All about Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Just wanted to ask about the scenes and where the main character in Matilda, obviously that's the one you were playing, where she got her magical powers from. Was it a form of witchcraft?
I'm sorry?
Was it a
form of witchcraft?
Oh, I don't think it's witchcraft because it's Matilda's power, and it's really just her brain power. The whole thing is kind of, an allegory. And it's what it is it's a lesson about how if you use your brain and you learn more and you rely on the help from your friends, it's all about having power from learning and from friendship as opposed to having, witchcraft powers, which is something a little different, I think.
Wizardry, yeah.
Definitely. It's wholesome powers. It's feasts, not fists.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I'm loving the outfit. Give a round of
Yeah.
applause for our Super Batman.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Emily. It's lovely to meet you. I was just wondering, who would be your dream person to work with, and if you're feeling open, who would you never want to work with and why?
Who would be my dream person to work with? Let's see. Oh my gosh. This might be divisive, but I really like Rian Johnson's films. I know not all Star Wars fans appreciated what he did with Star Wars, but I love his films so much. I loved Knives Out. I would love to work with him. I think it would be very, very cool to work with him. I would also love to work with Taika Waititi. Anybody, love to work with Taika Waititi, especially on What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite films, and the TV show is just hilarious. So I think that would be probably my dream. As for somebody I don't want to work with, I don't know. I've had good experiences with most people I've worked with. There's one or two that I'm like, I hope that I don't work with them again, but I'm not going to mention their names because, I'm going to try to be classy and nice and not burn any bridges.
And this is going on YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll tell you later. Come by the table. I'll whisper. You'll find me.
Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so
Wonderful,
much. Great
wonderful.
Question.
Oh, we are flowing through. Check out the Venom head. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Hi. Did you enjoy filming Miracle on 34th Street, and would you want to film another Christmas film?
I had a lot of fun filming Miracle on 34th Street. There was only one thing that wasn't fun, and it was that we were filming in the summer, and we were all wearing layers and layers of wool and corduroy, and I actually got a heat rash from filming. But it's really fun to be in Christmas movies and just holiday movies in general, I think, because people watch them every single year. And I always tell actors, I say, always be, like, if you have the opportunity to be in a Christmas movie, a Halloween movie, always say yes, because then you're going to become part of somebody's tradition. And that, I think, is the coolest thing. So, yeah, holiday movies are super fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love a good holiday movie. Love that question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Hi, guys. We got Double Trouble stepping up to the mark. Tell us your names.
I'm Kayla. This is Ella. We're twins. And we were wondering how you feel about the new musical coming out.
I've seen the musical, and it's very good, but it is a totally different take on Matilda than our version of Matilda. So sometimes people will say, like, oh, is it a remake? And I'm like, or like, why aren't you in it? And I'm like, oh, because it's completely different. It's like a completely different adaptation. But I mean, I feel like Matilda is such a big character. She's such like a character that's so important to so many people that, of course, there's going to be different takes on her and different takes on her life and different interpretations of her as a character. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's cool what they're doing with her too. And I did get to meet one of the little Matildas, who was Matilda on Broadway a couple of years ago. And I came up to her, I said, hi, I'm Mara. And her mom said, oh, we know who you are. So there's a connection between all of us who played Matilda, I think, which is very sweet.
Thank you.
Gorgeous questions. Love it. Oh, well, we go from Stranger Things to the full-on Hellfire Club members. I love it. Step on up to the mic. What's your name?
I'm Becca, and I was just wondering, how was it working with the late, great Richard Attenborough?
Oh, my goodness. Sir Richard, as I knew him, was just so lovely and so classy. And I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas because I was Jewish, so he was kind of the only Santa Claus that I ever really believed in. And he was lovely, though. He was so kind and gentle and soft-spoken and very smart. You just knew that he was a very smart, very intelligent person when you were talking to him. And being around him, you really did believe that he had magic powers. It was hard not to believe that. And maybe he did. Who knows?
Thank you.
Amazing. Yes. I'm so glad that you brought up Richard Attenborough. So from 3 sensational films, so in my mind as a child actress, you'd be looking at it from a grandfather figure of Sir Richard.
Exactly.
To a father figure like Danny.
Yeah.
And then into a fun uncle in Robin.
That is a great way to put it.
Full on trifecta.
Yeah, I did. I was so lucky. So lucky.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. When we come to conventions, we do it to meet really cool people like you. So when you do them, do you ever meet someone and you think, oh, you're really cool? Like
at conventions?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, a couple of years ago, I met David Tennant. Yeah, some of you might know that name, right? Like
Doctor Who fans?
Doctor Who fans, Good Omens fans. What isn't Jessica Jones fan? What isn't he in? He's so lovely. And I absolutely loved it because I saw him, he on his own break, I saw him sit down, and because, he's Doctor Who, he's an icon, and people handed him, he had like a stack of fan notes and fan letters from people saying, your work changed my life. And I saw him sit down, open each one, read it, look at it, smile, really take it in, really take it to heart, read every single fan letter that he had, and like just let it sink in to him. And he was so kind to his fans, and I met him and I was just like, oh my gosh, you're David Tennant, I love you. And he was so kind and funny, and he told me that his kids loved Matilda. So yeah, you can only imagine. I was like near tears. We all got a fangirl out sometimes, right?
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, that was definitely a highlight of doing conventions, is meeting the very cool people. And yeah, he's one person that I've met that I've blown away by, but there have been several, and there's even a few here that I was very excited to meet. So yeah, that's why I love doing cons.
Adore David Tennant. And as if by
Yes.
magic, stepping out of the TARDIS right now. Made you look. Go here. Joking. Massive, wonderful question. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Hi.
I was wondering, because a lot of the characters you play are very confident and outspoken. Did you ever get nervous on set or frightened? And if so, how did you deal with it?
That's a very good question, because I am somebody, I think, that that comes across as, confident and outspoken, but I've actually dealt with a lot of anxiety in my life. And I think that there's like a quote in a Tom Stoppard play where he says, actors are the opposite of people. Like, a lot of times they feel, because most people are nervous getting up in front of a crowd, actors are like, nope. Like this, I'm like, yeah, this is great. Hi, everybody. But if you ask me to do something else, like, especially if it's like one-on-one, I can be very shy. So I didn't really get nervous on set, because you can do it over and over and over again. But there's definitely been times where I got on stage that I was very nervous. And in fact, I had terrible stage fright when I was a kid. And I got over that by taking improv classes and comedy classes and singing in a choir. And then I started to feel more comfortable on stage. But there were still times that I was very nervous, and still times that I embarrassed myself. There was a play that I was in at university where I had to stand up on a chair. And I kept joking all through rehearsals. I was like, I'm going to fall off this chair one of these days. I'm going to fall off these chairs. Opening night, I get the wrong chair that's not weighted. I stand on top of it, and I completely faceplant onto the ground. Everybody laughs. It's a very serious play. And I couldn't get off stage after that. So I spent the whole time being like, when the focus wasn't on me, I just kept looking at like my clothes and being like, did I rip anything? Did I tear anything? And but you know what? What I always tell people is that really embarrassing thing that happened to you, it's actually very funny. So now I think about that, and it's very funny to me.
Love it. I'm hoping these chairs are all right.
Yes, these chairs are great. These chairs are fantastic.
We're good with that. Loved you in House of the Dragon, by the way. Smash that. We come to our final question, I do believe, and looking sensational in cosplay.
Yes, it's
Bring
amazing.
it on in.
What's your favorite Halloween movie and why?
Oh, my favorite Halloween movie. That is a good question. I would have to say Hocus Pocus. I actually was fortunate enough, speaking of awesome people at cons, I got to work with the cast of, or not work with, but meet the cast of Hocus Pocus at a con a few months ago, and they were very, very fun, because there were some formative childhood crushes for me in that movie, I would say, and probably for a lot of us. Like, if you're a millennial, come on. You either had a crush on Allison, or you had a crush on Binks, or you had a crush on Max. Like, come on now. But I was actually a little bit scared of that movie when I was a child. But then later on, I found out that I think when you find out that somebody who plays a scary character is actually nice, you're less scared of them. And I was very scared when I first saw that movie at a sleepover. And then I knew somebody who had worked with Bette Midler, and they said, oh yeah, Bette Midler used to come out to the car to take her to the set in a towel or a bathrobe. And so I thought of this really scary, powerful witch coming out in like a towel and a bathrobe and just being like, hey guys, good morning. And she wasn't scary after that. So after that, I just thought of it as a very, very fun movie. And anytime I got a little scared watching it, I would just think of her in her dressing gown.
Wonderful question. Give it up.
It's
Amazing.
like Totoro, right? You got to laugh to get away the scary things.
Oh, yeah. I've now just got the image of Winifred Sanderson in a bathrobe.
In a bathrobe.
Yes. Love it.
Exactly.
Excellent. Speaking of Hocus Pocus, have you seen the sequel?
No, I've been wondering if I should watch it now or if I should wait for like a Halloween party. Do you think? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn, but I definitely want to watch it.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Did we enjoy it? What are our thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sequels or indeed revisits, out of the three main that we were just talking about, so we've got Miracle on 34th Street, we've got Mrs. Doubtfire, and we've got Matilda. Which, if they were to add another aspect into that particular universe, would you like to take the role on of again?
You know, people have been saying, you know, what about a Matilda 2? What about a Matilda 2 for a long time? And for a long time, I thought, I don't know how you would do that because I think just the book is so complete. And the way that we ended the movie, I thought was so complete. But I have opinions about what Matilda would be doing now. And sometimes people will say, well, maybe it's her daughter who has powers. And I think, yeah, but some of the powers came from the fact that she was in a tough environment. She escaped that tough environment with her powers. And I don't think Matilda having a daughter, I think Matilda would be nice to her daughter. So her daughter wouldn't need to develop powers. But I do think it would be cool for Matilda to be sort of like a Professor X type character, you know, a sort of mentor to somebody else who has powers. That I think could be very cool. Her being a cross between Mrs. Phelps and Professor X, that's the Matilda 2 I'd like to see.
Very cool answer. I love that. I love the way that we have merged Matilda and X-Men straight
of course.
Perfect.
Of course.
Oh.
She's kind of an X-Men.
You're kind of an X-Men. We love it. We love it. Now,
I'm kind of a nerd. That's what I am. I'm kind of a nerd. Yeah.
But you are amongst company here because we are all nerds here. We love it.
I was going to say, yeah, you all love that, I'm sure.
Now, I've got a couple of names, a couple of phrases that I want to play one-word association with.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, we're going to find out exactly what Mara thinks just with a one-word answer. And we'll go quite quickly because then we might catch you off guard.
Okay.
That's always fun.
All right.
All right. Now, my first one has already been touched upon. However, it'd be nice to just wrap it all up in one word bubble. So, Richard Attenborough.
Class.
Nice.
Class.
Such
Every
a class.
level.
Movies that make you cry.
Big Fish.
Ewan McGregor, incidentally, next door.
Yes.
Favorite line of yours from a movie?
No more Miss Nice Girl.
I like it. I also like We're His Goddamn Kids Too.
Of course. I was so afraid I was going to get in trouble when I said that. I didn't, though.
YouTube's not watching.
Exactly.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Oh, nice answer.
Tea,
nice
definitely
answer.
tea.
We like that. Do we go full on English breakfast tea?
Yes, English breakfast. I have to have decaf because I've got bad blood pressure. But a decaf Earl Grey or English breakfast or Scottish breakfast, just the best. The best, yeah.
You will fit in very well here.
Yes.
Pierce Brosnan.
Charming.
Oh, I love it. This from
Charming.
class to charming. Excellent. Voice acting or on-screen acting?
Voice.
Oh, nice.
Voice. I mean, I've been, a lot of appreciation for voice. I mean, if I am on screen, I'm going to be a short brunette. But if I am in animation, I can be anything. I can be a spider. I can be a demon. I can be tall, hot, blonde, billionaire genius. I can be so many things. So definitely voiceover.
Good. Excellent. This one might not just be a one word. I feel like we can touch on this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Most awkward fan experience.
Oh,
Has anybody sent you anything that you think, what?
yes, there's definitely been, there's been people who say, fans themselves are pretty nice. They'll say things like, my coworker or my best friend or my daughter loves your movie. Personally, I don't get it. That's just rude.
It's just rude. Why would you do that to anybody?
Yeah. You could have stopped a line before.
Best gift you've ever received?
Oh, my nephew.
Instantly called?
Tom.
Yeah, love that. Dogs or cats?
Cats. Love dogs too, but cats.
Sally Field?
Mom.
Twitter or Instagram?
These days, Instagram. Although Twitter's fun too. Sometimes it's a bit too much, though. There's so much going on, so people are nicer on Instagram. These days, Instagram.
And to wrap it up in a nice big bubble, Mara Wilson.
Ooh, nerd?
Yes, we will go for that round of applause. Can we have a massive round of applause for this sensation that is Mara Wilson?